Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Crastinators podcast. I am the best guy ever, which is a temporal designation, because cool things used to happen, but I've always been the best. Oh, I long for those days when I was the best, which is also now. Hypocrite is here.
No, I forgot how it went. Bad leg. That's why you're sitting there. I kicked your leg out. Fuck you. You ruined it, Dabu. You ruined everything by fucking up your audio. It was a good intro, and it's gone now. It's gone forever.
Jesse's here. Endless Jess.
I am the mighty tower, a hinga-dinga-derrigan. I love the Swedish meatballs.
Tommy Oliver. What's up, dude?
I gotta recover my formula to defeat the Jews. It was there, now it's gone.
Oh God! Without context, it just sounds like you're an anti-Semite. Take it back.
Oh no! And our mutual mortal enemy, Devu. Thank you for joining us. So we're all feeling very nostalgic today. That was the topic of the episode. We recorded an intro, you guys. It was a glorious intro, but it died. It was deleted. It's in the sands of history,
All right,
the sands of time now. And we just long for it.
It's quite apt is that it wasn't even that good, but we all love it because it was in the past and it's gone forever.
Oh my God, that's so apropos. That's absolutely true. It was total shit. It was garbage. It was garbage. But we still loved it.
It's my intro.
Yes. There are many shit intros, but that one was ours. But anyway, we're going to talk about nostalgia. What's the fucking deal with it? And luckily, we have the world's foremost expert on nostalgia, Hypocrite, here with us to tell us everything we need to know.
The nostalgia critic's here?
Oh, no, God, please.
No, he
end
critiqued my video. That's what he did. That's all he's known for.
Wow. That epic review of one video made by Hypocrite. Hippo, what is nostalgia? What is it?
It is a love for a simpler time, usually an earlier time. I mean, it's probably an earlier because you can't have nostalgia for the future. But the point is, it's a time before, and you really wish you could go back. And things from that time are sort of they make you feel good just by reminding you of that time, and that's generally I think what it is.
Hey, I looked up the definition on Urban Dictionary, and the description is boring, but there's something interesting here. So the top definition of nostalgia on Urban Dictionary just says, a bittersweet longing for things, person, or situations of the past, and also the condition of being homesickness, and there's no example, so this is one they didn't really give a shit about. But underneath it, it just says photos and videos, and there's just one picture there, and it is a PlayStation 1. And I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah.
That's apt as fuck.
That is so fucking apt.
You know what? Speaking of PlayStation 1, the thing that always gets me, that hits that nostalgia bone, is when you actually plug in the PlayStation 1 and press power, and you get that.
Yeah!
Oh, it's the best.
I don't get why consoles don't do that shit anymore. When did they give up? Did they give up after GameCube, which was the best one? Like, they just thought, okay, we're done now.
I don't know. That PS1 sound was like the coolest sound of all time. And
It's like the
it
THX.
booted, and then it started the game, and then it had like a sequel little chime.
Yeah, there were two of them on the PS1.
I'm so fucking ready. And then the game was
dope.
Never as good as that sound.
And even when you would play like PS1 games on like the PS3 when it was backwards compatible, it would have the second one of like the logo, but it didn't have the.
It didn't have that part.
Well, you know what? I've been playing like PS1 games on PS3 for so long, I forgot that there was a first boing.
Yeah, there's a first boing.
When I think of that sound, I always inevitably follow it up in my mind with there's that and then after the PlayStation 1 thing resolves, I just hear that the Final Fantasy 9 intro is what comes to my mind immediately.
That was the first
the best
PS1 game that I got super invested in, so yeah, I'm exactly the same. Yeah.
Hey,
Final Fantasy 7 would have taken it, but there is no like song that plays when you get to the title screen of Final Fantasy 7.
It's just kind of like
that's why it's the worst game.
I still have my original PlayStation, and I just like not even plugging it in, just clicking the open the latch button, and it goes ka-ching with a little spring sound.
Yeah. And
I
you know,
love that shit.
And like the fucking Game Boy transitioning to the DS was the same problem, where the Game Boy Advance was dwong.
Yeah.
Then the DS was just dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, it was
What the
pretty
fuck?
shit. It was definitely less cool.
It was
And-
like way
and
less cool.
What was interesting was that the Game Boy Advance like visual that accompanied it had more like visual complexity than the DS one. The DS one just kind
Yeah.
of faded in, but like
Yeah.
the Game Boy one was like,
It's
look,
fucking
we can
ridiculous.
do 3D-esque things now. Isn't this cool?
I
And
wonder
you're
why
so
they
impressed.
stopped doing that. Like in
You know
general.
why? I'll tell you why. It's fucking big government. That's what this problem is.
Fucking
Big government
Obama.
coming in here, fucking crippling our beautiful
You know what's funny,
game
Nate, is that I was actually
intros.
questioning it myself, and I was actually thinking of a not ironic answer that was kind of similar along the same
Oh, yeah?
lines. If you want to hear my logic, but that's not really the topic of today, so...
I was thinking it's
I
more
feel
like
like-
aesthetic sensibilities have changed. From
Well-
what companies think we want, maybe.
Well, I think it might be more to do with the fact that they're also making like huge menus for consoles instead of just like
Mm-hmm.
you know. 'cause
Yeah,
before,
well, but honestly, I was
the
honestly,
menus,
like,
like, has more
unironically
stuff
thinking it
in
may
it.
have something to do with the Sherman Antitrust Act.
Wow.
What do they do?
What's the
'cause
connection
I was thinking
there?
about Microsoft, right? Because like Windows 95 had all this personality. You know, its intro was like Brian Eno, how to go dwong. No, that's the fucking Game Boy one. You know, dude, fuck, I can't
Yeah,
even do it. It's such a
yeah.
complex melody, I can't even enunciate it.
It's
and
pretty
then
cool.
I know the one.
after the
yeah.
2000s, they just kind of gave up on that shit. And I'm like, what changed about Microsoft in that time period? Oh, well, that would have been when Bill Gates was kicked out of the leading role, and that's when the government cracked down on their supposed monopolies, and they had to rearrange a bunch of shit. So maybe the government said, don't have personality, don't lead people to think you have personality. And then like all the other tech companies followed from Microsoft's example. So yeah,
All I want to say to that, Davu, is correlation does not necessarily imply causation.
yeah, well,
Could've
it's the
just
best
been
theory I can
aesthetics.
come up with.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Apple
well,
still
alright.
has that chime that they've had since like the early 90s.
Well,
and
they
all
haven't
their
like done
computers
anything
still
with
do.
it for like 10 years though.
Yeah, but they're a bunch of fucking millennial scum.
They had
at
this.
Apple.
They
I
had this.
wasn't
like,
trying
they had
to
this like
defend it.
aesthetic, but they haven't
The sound
fucking
is
up-
boring. I'm just
They
saying
haven't
it's
fucking
there.
I
updated their
really
aesthetic
like
in like
Crash
13
Bandicoot
years. They still
3.
use the same goddamn
You know,
fonts and the same
you
design.
jump around, you spin.
Who, Apple?
You know,
That's a
dude, you
good
wanna
old
talk-
thing.
you wanna-
You
you
know,
wanna talk
first
about
level of Crash
nostalgia.
Bandicoot 3. You get
Dude.
the wizard, you hit him with your attack. That's good.
My
I like it.
when we when we bought a PlayStation 1, I remember this day so well. Now this is a day I'm very nostalgic for. We had like a Super Nintendo and like a Game Boy and a couple little and an original Nintendo for a few years. But we went, me and my brother pooled our money, bought ourselves a PlayStation 1. My dad, out of the kindness of his heart, bought us a dedicated TV to use with it. And the two games we brought home, this old-ass tube TV that's still in my house and works to this day, and we bought ourselves Crash Bandicoot 1 and Final Fantasy 7 were the two games that we brought home that day.
That is a solid
It
start.
was a magical day. I'll never forget it. Riding in the car home with my family that I loved, it was great.
You know
It was a
what?
wonderful
That
time.
reminds me of like a feeling I've had that I've missed is like the idea of just having a console and having just a couple games on it and just switching between them because like you're young, you don't have
It
a lot
really-
of money. Like you got, oh
it
yeah,
really
if I'm
forces
tired of
you
playing
to-
Crash, then let's go for a fucking epic Final Fantasy sort of. You know,
It
you switch
forces you
between
to
them.
like explore every nuance of what made the games good, as opposed to now you've
Yeah.
got 20,000 Steam games, so you play them each for like
Yeah.
2 minutes and you don't really
Yeah.
give a
the
shit.
worst.
What I was thinking is because I've long felt that I don't have like nostalgic feelings, but like lately I'm thinking something I definitely have nostalgic feelings for is video games, but not video games in general, but like specific moments or aspects of very specific video games. Because like I've been playing through Earthbound for the first time, and there's so many moments where I'm like, oh sweet, that's cool. That was like a fun little charming moment. And then I think, man, if I had been playing this when I was 9, which wouldn't have been possible, it wasn't localized. If I'd been playing this like 10 years ago,
Are you talking about Earthbound or Mother 3 or
no,
something?
Earthbound, yeah, Mother 2. And like every
okay.
single one of those moments would have been like amazing to me at the time because it would have taken me like so much longer to figure out, you know? Like
That's
that was
true.
a, that was
That's
a,
true.
that was a key of like having a lot of nostalgia for so many moments for Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga was because I hadn't played any RPGs before, so I had no idea how to play them, and I didn't know like where to look up to like get hints. So like I would get stuck on certain moments for weeks, just poring over all the little details of everything and not having any other entertainment to go to. So yeah, it was really like being stuck in this like void with nothing but you and this one thing and this one little problem you have to figure out. And you spend so
You know,
much time on it, you really get attached to it. But now that I have gaming skills, they all just kind of come and go so quickly that they don't leave as much impact.
So
I gotta cut in and just remind the people out there that yes, I too have nostalgia for Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, but that does not mean it is not also just objectively the greatest game ever made.
It is a
There
really good game.
No amount of nostalgia will color the fact that it is the best game ever made, and fuck you if you disagree.
Yeah,
It's a really
I
good
think,
game.
As Nate said earlier, like I'm an expert on nostalgia because I think because I made a video called "Why Nostalgia Is a Good Thing." I can't actually remember what I said, but I think what the point was there's a difference between a nostalgic enjoyment of something and an actual enjoyment in a way. I think. Actually, forget it. I can't remember whether that was my point, and I don't know whether I even agree with that video. It's not a good video.
we should all go watch that video again. Everyone go to Hypocrites, like the first video on the channel.
Well, do go to
No,
Hypocrite.
do it. You have no choice. Go watch it. But I was going to expand a little bit on what Jesse was saying before about how I definitely agree that just the changing dynamics of the games market having flooded games like Duck Game and things like that are built to be like sort of like popcorn games, like consumable party games that you don't really necessarily have to spend a lot of time with.
They're designed to be like Let's Played once.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Like that's like their whole source of revenue is people watch goofy Let's Plays and buy them and never play them because they're garbage games.
Or like
I'll say
Yandere
is I got
Simulator.
way more out of Duck Game than I get out of most online multiplayer games. I don't know about
Duck
you.
Game is,
Sure.
is pretty fun.
I don't-
but
Well,
there
I don't
are
agree with it
definitely
being
a
a
lot of games
popcorn
out there
game
that
more
are
than
made
like-
just
Well,
to be
I
Let's
can only-
Played, like I Am Bread or something. Like nobody
Yeah,
actually cares
or
about that game, but it was big for
Octodad.
like 1 week.
Yeah,
I can only
Octodad's
speak from-
definitely that kind of game for sure.
Right. I can only speak for myself here, but okay, this is literally just me, and I don't know how many people this applies to, but I way prefer, like, playing games alone, a single one-player experience, getting absorbed in it. I've been playing this last week or two, Nier Automata, and Nier is a great series because it gives you the thing that I crave most out of a video game. Like, it incentivizes you with in-game rewards to basically 100% it. And that is the best thing that every game gives you, that a game can give me. It encourages me to explore the breadth and the width of the content of the game, both in terms of story, in terms of mechanics. It forces you to figure out how to do stuff the optimal way. It gets you to be invested in all the characters and found out all the little side stories that have been planted there. So, like, this was something that was kind of forced on us.
Doesn't
when
I Am
games
Bread
were-
also
Yeah,
force you
go
to
ahead.
explore the breadth of the game?
Well, it was just back in the day. We were kind of back in the day. You didn't really have to force players. At least when we were kids, at the very least, you didn't have to like give strong incentives for people to explore all of games because you would just do that because you had like 5 games, and of course you're going to play them 1,000 times and figure shit out. But in the current market, I really think it definitely pays and gives your game the kind of longevity and the good long runtime to structure it in such a way to encourage fully exploring it.
Yeah, there's a
and to
number of
give-
times where like I'll decide I'm gonna just play a video game and not do anything else for a day, and I feel like I've accomplished something by being able to focus that much, and I'm like, wow, this is kind of sad that like attention span is so scattershot and tiny now because of social media and shit that like I legitimately feel accomplished by playing a video game consistently.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you used
Something
to
that
feel
was
like
not hard.
like 100%ing a game or like beating a game. Now, like to me, just turning on a game and sitting down and playing it for 10 minutes feels like something I worked for. It feels like an
Yeah.
accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
I
that's
have like
why
a
I-
huge library of games that I haven't touched, and it's weird because like we're talking about nostalgia and how like we used to be way more invested in games back in the day, and I think so much of it is just that like we were saying because you didn't have a lot of money and you only had a few options because it's not even I don't think so much that like games are designed differently now. I think it's just because I have disposable income and I have right now I have like 15 PS4 games, 50 PS3 games, and 70 something PS2 games, and I've played like maybe 10% of each of those. And like those are the games that like they have depth. They weren't designed for like Let's Plays. Like most of them predated Let's Plays. But I just play them for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh, what about the next one? Or I just don't touch them at all. And they just sit on my
It's like
shelf
it's
and they feel like I did
impossible
something.
it's impossible to not be nostalgic like just for video games as a whole as you get older because you have no fucking time to play them anymore. It feels like you have
Right.
to force yourself to relax. Like, and like you said, like they still make games that have a lot of depth, that like reward a lot of investment. I've had The Last Guardian since November. I haven't played it yet. I have Breath of the Wild. I haven't beaten it yet. I'm only like a little bit into the game. What do I do every time I turn on the fucking PS4? I just play Binding of Isaac for an hour. That's all I can fucking do every day. It's the same game. It's the same fucking thing every time. It's just running around in rooms shooting shit, but it's the only fucking thing I can invest in anymore, because fucking putting my brain into a Zelda game for 40 hours seems more taxing to me than playing 40 different hour-long runs of the stupid Isaac game.
Yeah, I
think
feel
it's
like
like
a lot of the
familiarity.
reason...
I hate you, Binding of Isaac. I hate you, Florian. You'll never be
Florian,
invited
you
into the
really-
Procrastinators. It's all
us.
your fault. You
I
ruined
feel
my
like
life.
I feel like a lot of the reason I do like a video game review show is so that I can play games, because there's a reason
Yeah.
to do it. Like Let's Plays, they take a lot of time, which is why I've turned to streaming now for like, oh yeah, I want to play an old game but I can't be bothered because I got stuff to do. And the games I'm like reviewing, they're also games I have to play, and I enjoy doing recording them and playing them for stuff. But the streaming is like, that's like, yeah, I could sit down and play a game for a few hours and it can be fun and it won't even be feeling like I'm an idiot. And it's great.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
you know what this kind of reminds me of? It's just, I know I've said it before, but even something like this podcast basically exists for the reason, at least to me, for forcing us to be able to talk to each other and
Yeah.
do something together. Like, that's why I like to do
Definitely.
it, in order to get
Yeah.
this
I
out of it.
I cannot motivate myself to do anything ever if it is not feeding into some grand design goal that will pay off in 5 years.
I think that is probably the big like fucking mental change that has happened with social
Yeah,
media and
yeah.
stuff. Is I feel like now that nothing I do or say has any sort of legitimacy unless it's projected onto some social network so strangers can see it.
Yep.
And it's really weird because like I've just been doing a bunch of work for myself the last couple weeks. In the beginning I was really jonesing on it, and now I just feel like desperate for like validation of what I've done. And it's like a disgusting like degeneracy of the mind, like being conditioned by like you have to have the clicks, you have to have the likes, you have to have the views. And it's just like I can't just do shit anymore. I think that's why I don't play video games or anything anymore, because like I have to stream it or I have to make a video about it, or like what's the fucking point?
Well, for
You
me,
know?
I don't need attention. I don't need like people like looking at it in the meantime. It just has to be feeding towards something, which I've been using game design as the excuse. I'm like, well, I want to make a game with this, that, and this mechanics in it, and but I want to make sure I've played all the important games that have these mechanics in them, so that I know I'm doing it right. So I just wrote out a giant fucking list of all the games I've been wanting to play my whole life, and I'm like, I have to play them now. So Earthbound was like first on the list pretty much. So for me, I'm having a great time. I found the perfect excuse that's just an endless well of perfectly mentally and emotional justification to play all the stuff I've always wanted to play.
Well,
So-
that's good, but it is sort of a similar motivation to what Tom was saying. in that
Exactly,
it is
yeah.
towards an end goal.
Well,
yeah.
I think I don't know whether like all of that is like necessarily like a downward sort of thing. Like it used to be better when we were kids and we would just do something for no reason.
I don't know. I think it was I didn't like it as much as when I was a kid, because I felt like even as a kid, I was just sitting around trying to come up with some sort of grand design for my life, and I couldn't come up with anything at the time.
Well, yeah, I
So-
mean, what I'm saying is like nostalgia is not necessarily like inherently better than the current. I think sometimes you look at the past and you sort of like rose-tinted goggles or whatever you say.
Oh, I have no rose-tinted goggles for anything. I think everything in my life is better now than it was when I was younger.
Well, yeah, but things like this, like streaming, I actually legitimately enjoy it a lot, and I don't think it's too bad that I feel the need to play a game on a live streaming platform instead of by myself. It's just
Yeah.
fun. It's like somebody's talking with me in the room, like, yeah, I got friends over, kind of. And it's kind
just-
of a replacement for like, because I don't actually have friends in real life, lol. But
Yeah, those are gay anyway.
it's I don't know. I think
War
things
has
are
changed, dude.
good.
War has changed. The way that we conduct ourselves is social media has changed the game forever, and I don't know if we'll ever go back to the way it was. I mean, there's a lot of Nier Automata is an oddly appropriate game to have just played, because there's all this stuff about how like all the robots, it's fucking robots doing shit, like they're all networked and they all kind of relate to each other in different ways than a human talking, person to person does, and like you're able to kind of use your consciousness through different bodies. It's this whole complex thing. But all I'm getting at is that the way that we relate to each other by having this electronic network of communication as opposed to just verbal or like fucking smoke signals or whatever, it's way different, and it's only getting more different and more different than like humanity was at its inception. And these are real fundamental changes to us biologically in the way that we live in this world.
I think the way I see it is hanging out with people in real life with no fucking cameras anywhere, no recording. That's still good. That's the classic. Sure. It's been around forever. You can still enjoy it, but talking to people, having an extended Twitter rave about something is also fun. It's a new thing. One does not have to permanently kick out the other. And, sitting around playing a video game for 10 hours is also a thing that you could do with your time. I don't walk away from any one of these activities feeling more or less satisfied than the others. It's like, if I just played a video game for 10 hours, I have this feeling in my mind of like, oh god, I didn't do anything but play a video game for 10 hours. But like, if I just hanged out with like friends all day, I'll end it with the same feeling of, wow, I didn't do anything but hang out with friends all day. Like, it doesn't matter.
After I hang out with friends, I feel like ending it too, my man. I know what you
just
mean.
Like there's just nothing, in my opinion, there's no one thing you can do with your time that feels like the definitively perfect thing to do with your time. Everything you do is closing the door on everything else you could be doing with your time, So everything is a huge trade-off. Everything lacks something. So just don't worry about it, is my philosophy.
I've heard that.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I can respect it. Because, like, I don't know. I guess in my opinion,
That's
I guess
the end of the
now.
PCP podcast.
It's over.
At last. Well, I don't know if I agree with that, but I can respect it. No more shows. No more episodes.
All right, we're done. Well, I mean, I guess because me, I just like working is always like the number one thing, and if I'm not working on something, like if I'm not working on like an animation or a drawing or a writing or something like that, something productive, like there's always this creeping feeling in the back of my mind that like you should be doing that. So I'll play I used to play video games for hours and hours and hours. Like I wouldn't do homework in high school. I would like lie and say, I have no homework, like for like 2 months now, and just play video games like until I had to go to bed.
Well, don't misinterpret. There are lots and lots of things that I don't feel very happy doing. I basically listed off 3 of the only ones. Let's see. Saying really interesting stuff on Twitter, like making a really interesting narrative on social media that will always be great to go back to. I guess on Twitter it's hard to go back to it. What the fuck ever. Hanging out with good friends who are interesting to talk to. Playing an actually good video game that isn't like just, fucking one of those fucking like roguelike
those fucking
games.
meme games, dude. Those fucking meme games.
No, one of those roguelike games. Like I was getting kind of depressed playing Nuclear Throne too much back in the day. I was like, okay, I need to cut this out. It's the same shit every time, and also working on a project.
Nuclear Throne, is that called the Donald Trump simulator? Oh, fucking
shit.
got him!
Oh
yes!
man, I am so nostalgic for Donald Trump jokes. Remember back in the day when when everyone used to make fun of Donald Trump? What happened to that? Bring it back, I say.
Oh yeah, bring it back, please. We need more.
Not enough making fun of Donald Trump on the internet.
Ever since I'm with her won, ever since Pokemon Go to the Polls won, it's been just boring. It's been fucking boring.
We've just been Pokemon going to the polls every day since, and no one's been taking time to stop, smell the roses, and make fun of Donald Trump. Did you guys know that his skin is orange like Cheeto dust?
What?
Whoa, what? Tell me more.
Also, I have it on...
I don't believe you.
I have it on good authority. His hands...
Whoa.
...are small.
Big? Oh.
Wait, but how does this affect his dick size? What's the relationship here? That's the real heart of the matter.
I think the issue is that his hands are smaller than like a regular man's hands should be. So maybe also his penis is smaller than a regular man's penis should be.
We'll see, that's why he's not my president.
That's why
he's
he lost the election, and that's why we all Pokemon went to the polls.
Feels good. Feels good to be an active member of the socialist liberal agenda, trying to anarchist for life. It's it feels good.
I don't know how true this is. I'd like you all to comment on whether you think it's true, but I've heard that millennials, 90s kids or whatever, they feel more nostalgic for their youth than previous generations. Because
hey, I've got a reason for that.
Because
okay, go on.
Things have like technology and stuff has just accelerated during that time period to the point where you grow up playing with toys and then you're an adult and you've gone through so many consoles and video games and things, and now it's just so weird. Like I remember playing with like little plastic army men as a kid.
The other day. We're like, because like our generation, like guys my age, like 25 to 30 or whatever, like we are the very last generation that will ever have existed without the internet.
Yeah.
And I can
that's
remember
right.
a time in my life when like the internet entered my life and changed everything forever. And I remember what it was like before that.
LimeWire,
and
dude.
after.
LimeWire
And
changed
that's why
the
like
game.
I feel
Totally
like
did.
I feel this like weird like disconnect with people who are even like 4 or 5 years younger than me only, because they grew up, they have this, there's this culture and this language of like everything's fucking ironic, everyone is like taking pride in being an autist or like a shitty person, and it's just
Hashtag irony is a purely destructive force.
it's weird. Like this feeling that like people get for like generations 20 years their junior of like, oh, these young kids nowadays, they don't know shit, they're all fucking weird and psychotic. I feel that way about people 5 years younger than me, because there's like a huge fucking divide. And it's like a whole
totally
different
with
way
you
of
on
thinking.
that. Oh, go on.
I just hate them. I hate young people. That's it.
I'm with you, and I agree with you on
Sex
all that.
with
The
them, though.
technological,
I
the
love
rapid,
sex with the young, but I hate the young
That's all they're good
in
for.
general.
the rapid technological advancement definitely has created a cultural gap
Hashtag the
there,
young
but
are for
also
sex and
there is-
nothing else.
there is the real phenomenon that the millennials are the first generation in like possibly ever, I think, that actually has a worse economic foothold than the generation that came before them. That we're over the tipping point with our generation.
Well, that
and
was-
hopefully it doesn't stay that way, but that's where it is.
That was
That's
the
where
point
it
that I
is.
made a while ago. I don't remember where, but I was just like, I wonder if the reason the millennials are so nostalgic for the 90s and shit is because we're the first generation that has nothing really to look forward to.
It's because when we were kids, we didn't have to worry about, all kinds of
I
bullshit.
mean, that was
And,
obviously the case
like,
for people who were born in the 30s. Like, hold on,
I
there
don't
was that
follow.
whole 10-year period where the economy was total shit. So
I
I'm
don't
sure
know
it
what
was the
you're
same
talking
thing
about.
for them,
I don't know
too.
what that is. Well,
I'm just saying that, like, it's not the first time this has happened, but it's the
No,
first time
I mean,
it's
just,
happened.
to say it's the only time is like an exaggeration.
Right, right, right. It's the
also,
first
I
time it's
didn't know
happened
that
in a
for
while.
sure. All right.
I think we're the first
In a while,
generation to really have some perspective on how doomed we are as a species, because we're the first generation to like have the knowledge available to us that like in 20 years
Yeah.
the fucking one world government is
the
going to
internet
be
really
raping
changed
all of our
everything.
children.
The internet, something I think that is really fucking with our generation, because it's fucking with me and I hate it, because it's something that I never stressed with when I was a little kid, and it only started when the internet happened, is this really like broad worldwide perspective of how mediocre I am. And because like back in the day before the internet, you could do stuff like, like when you sat down and played
Yeah.
Pokemon with your friends or whatever, you're like, oh man, I'm like one of the best people at Pokemon, or because like there's 10 people I knew who played Pokemon. Now like I want to like make videos and do drawings and shit. I have access to the internet, and I can see people in like fucking Taiwan who are like 10 years old who are going to be better than I'll ever be in my entire life, and it's completely changed this perspective of like how good you are at things. What the the bell curve of talent is, and also like it's set expectations that like the exceptions to the rule have risen to the top in this interconnected world and have become the new norm. So it feels like that's the standard.
I feel like some of that, well, a lot of that came through from TV anyway, though, like TV and magazines.
Well,
like
I felt like there was a separation
learning
on
as a
TV.
kid.
Because like with
There were
TV,
people
like
who
the
were
celebrities
amazing.
were at a distance, but now like PewDiePie is just a dude in his fucking room.
Like
and he's
I
a
get that. I get that.
multi-billionaire.
Like the that there's like a worldwide perspective of how mediocre you are. Like you said, I don't think you're mediocre, by the way. But that's what you said. I feel the opposite. Like, for me, the problem is that I have this worldwide perspective on how mediocre the world is, and how I'm just trapped here, and everyone is a fucking sociopath, and everyone is psychotic, and like everyone is evil. That's my nightmare, and it's a waking nightmare that I wake up to every morning.
It's kind of similar to, I was just having an existential crisis about this other day. And I mean, I always know this on an intellectual level, but it really hit me as I was, again, playing Nier, which deals a lot with, like, the role of humanity and the end of civilization and all that shit. Like, no matter what I do in my life, none of it will matter at all, because even if humanity lives 1 billion years, the universe will end and nothing will remain. Absolutely no traces will be left no matter what I do.
I'm fucking banking on the idea that we're gonna have like 1 billion years.
We could hop dimensions. Theoretically.
Yeah,
It's possible.
That's what I'm banking on. Is that, I mean, okay. Our civilization was able to figure out how to break our gravity and then land on our moon within like 12,000 years of civilization and only like 100,000 years of our species. With 1 billion years, we can figure out dimensions. No biggie. You know, it's not a fucking problem.
You know, I'll give it to you, but my more pressing concern is that we'll destroy ourselves. That is my main concern.
Honestly, when it comes to stuff like that, I think of what the human race will be, that the language will have morphed. If I were to travel to the future, English would be, like, no longer English. People would have, changed, gradually evolved to be strange, or if they live on other planets, they'll be really tall and stuff if there's lower gravity or whatever. And it'll be so alien to me that it may as well not even be the human race, and at that point, I don't really care.
You know, that was another thing I was thinking about, where I have this thing where I really care about humanity's survival, and I root for humanity to go out and colonize space, and then I just thought to myself, why am I really so dedicated to Team Humanity? Why is it not okay for, like, a superior alien race to just kind of pick things up and go with it, you know?
That's my hope, is that somewhere out there there's a better race than us, because if we're the best the universe has to offer, the universe is fucked.
Yeah, like, I wanna be on Picard's team, where Picard's like, humanity has so much potential, we can evolve, we can learn from our mistakes, we can improve ourselves, and I'm just like, I'm out looking here at humanity day after day, and I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it happening.
I think it's pretty obvious that hobbits were better than humans.
I'm very depressed today.
I'm seeing a regression when I look at humanity. I think people are getting worse as time goes on.
We could just be a slump. It could just be a slump that we're in right now. I mean, you never know.
Well, I guess it's interesting that we're talking about this whole, like, humanity thing, because that's never been something, like, I can understand your enthusiasm and your investment on, like, a logical level, but I just don't care. Like, I guess I'm just too much of an individualist, where I'm just like, of course I think it's cool, like, conceptually, of humanity to succeed and do all this crazy shit and become Starfleet, but, like, I'm not invested in that struggle because I'm going to be dead in like 30 to 40 years, and it doesn't have anything to do with me. Like, even if we succeed in 1 billion years, I'm not going to be here to even comprehend it. Like,
you know, I'm with you on all that, but to make things even more depressing, what is even the point of Starfleet? To just spread humanity like a fucking cancer over the other planets and galaxies?
This is like,
what's the point? What are we serving by doing
that? We really need to have a separate
podcast
about futurism and the idea of what should happen.
We really do.
We should.
I actually was going to suggest this a couple days ago, and then I fell asleep and forgot.
Interesting, because I actually suggested it in a Let's Play that me, Digi, and Ben and Mumkey Jones recorded last night. I actually suggested that exact topic.
Well, it's not out yet, is it? Oh, maybe it might
we're
be.
totally off topic right now.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, we're supposed to be
talking
about
nostalgia. The only thing I can really say about nostalgia is basically just to gloat that, like, I've been privileged enough, both, like, emotionally and financially, that, like, I've just succeeded at life and, like, everything is better for me now. So, like, basically the only way I could imagine just talking about this is just for someone to name something that you should hypothetically be nostalgic for from the past that I'm totally not, and just go down the list.
Dude,
well,
what about back in school when you drew the little S's with the 3 lines?
Yeah, I didn't go to fucking school. Anything related to school
No
is off the
wonder
list.
you're not nostalgic. You fucking missed out on everything. If you don't have those S's, you don't know what's up with life.
The way I see nostalgia is that, I mean, I especially hate it whenever anyone says or implies, "Oh my God, you didn't do or know this thing. You didn't have a childhood." That's your thing.
DeVoe didn't have a childhood. He didn't make the S's.
Yeah,
I literally don't even know what you're talking
I
about.
get that you're doing a funny little joke here, but I really hate that. I really, really hate that. Anybody who pushes their nostalgia for something onto me.
Does anybody mean that seriously? Has anybody ever meant that legitimately?
It doesn't
matter. They need to be punched in the face.
No. People all the time. I mean,
who?
Not even.
Who does that?
Well, I mean,
these people who were born in the wrong generation.
I'm not even denying that I'm not even saying you're wrong. I've just never encountered anyone seriously meaning that. Like it's always
I know
normal
exactly what you
normal-
mean, but like I've gotten over it since then. So yeah, another thing that's better about my life now is not caring about things that don't need to be cared
God
about.
damn.
But I was going somewhere, but I figured I'll just come up with the other thing I was going to say is that right now I'm on my laptop, and that's because I'm away with my family at a weekend sort of holiday thing in the countryside, and it's really nice and it's stuff, and it's reminding me of like family holidays because we haven't been on a lot of those. Mum and Dad have been going on holidays by themselves for the past few years because like I don't know, it's just sort of like. It's weird to just keep going on family holidays every year. But now we're doing it again, and it's like, yeah, I remember.
I'm not nostalgic for family holidays. The last couple ones my family had were like really boring and hard because that's like I just want to work on my dang videos.
Yeah,
See, I'm not nostalgic for those either.
It's not just the family holidays thing, but it's just like reminding me of all the stuff that you don't do or I did before like technology, and I'm thinking of like, yeah, I used to really like stuff and places and things and frogs. And castles and wind and trees and I like all that. That's good. Fresh air is nice.
I'm with you.
I sure wish I had more of it.
One thing that I don't know if I guess it's nostalgic, but when I was living in Massachusetts my whole life, my dad had a boat and we'd go out in it, and I never really like enjoyed going out in it because it took like all day, and I would actually, I never looked forward to it, but once I was out there, usually had a great time. But I used to really, really enjoy going down to the marina where his boat was and just standing there feeling the sea breeze. And the first thing I noticed when I moved out to the Midwest, and I'm in Ohio, is how much I fucking miss the ocean and just standing on the shore, smelling the salt, feeling the breeze, feeling the fucking sun.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be. I want to be there all the time.
I think it's important to remember that the real world is pretty good if you're just,
Oh yeah, I love the real world too. Yeah, fucking, I'd be going on walks. I'm gonna go on walks all the dang time as soon as my ankles finish healing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
If I could live on like a what's the word? Like a beach house right next to the fucking ocean where I could go swimming if I want and be able to come inside, go into a little studio and like record podcasts and videos and edit shit. Oh, and then at night I could leave the windows open, feel the cool ocean breeze and smell the sea. Oh, that would be the perfect life. That's what I want for me one day. And have a big fat slut in my bed with me. Just a real ham beast, a big monster. Yeah, just smother me to death every night. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's my dream.
Beautiful.
And I guess you'd call it nostalgic. Yeah, that's like a nostalgic fantasy.
It's a
to
nostalgic
love the
full of
future.
Fago and a car full of fat chicks. That's the American dream.
That's right.
It's funny you mentioned the ocean because I did something rather similar, like remembering how much I liked the ocean. Because me and my family used to go to the beach all the time because we're in Massachusetts as well. So we go to we go to the Cape, we go to like Rockport, like beach and stuff like that because I was really close by. And
You ever go to Horseneck? You ever go to Horseneck Beach?
I never went to Horseneck Beach.
Okay, just wondering.
I missed out on that one. But back when I was a kid, the more I got into video games, the less I wanted to go to the beach because like video games, beach didn't mix. So I was like, fuck that. I just want to play video games. And I remember like as I got older, I really disliked the beach. But then my friend came over and she lives in Missouri, so she'd never seen the beach ever in her life. This was like last year. Never gone to the beach, and she's like, I want to go see the beach. I'm like, yeah, fuck, the beach is gay, who cares? But I guess you've never been there, so I guess we should probably go. And we go, and she just like freaks out and is like, holy shit, and just like and just like it's cold. It's like it's in the winter, so the water's freezing. She still like fucking runs into the water and just like experiences it. I'm just standing there and like it's the first time I've been on the beach in probably like 7 or 8 years, and like the same kind of things, like the smell of the salt and like just being there and feeling the breeze, like it triggered like this like really
yeah, you just look down at her and you just think to yourself, what a fag.
Exactly. I was like the biggest fucking but it was like it was, you kind of remember what you liked about it, and to see someone else kind of like experiencing the joy you used to have there was really, really interesting.
That's interesting.
So I don't know, I appreciated it all over again.
That's really interesting because I'm also from Missouri, and I also saw the beach for the first time like 6 months ago when I moved in with Digi, and I went there and I was like, yep. I don't know why I'm able to be such an asshole being contrarian about every single thing people are talking about today. It's just for some reason.
Deville, you've created life and turned us all into wrestlers.
Well, that's why you're the mortal. That's why you're the. That's where you're the arch nemesis of the PCP, our villain from within. Yeah, it's fine. We expect it.
I mean, I was there when you first discovered sand, and that was quite weird to see
sand.
Yeah, to see someone discover sand, like big amounts of sand under your feet.
That wasn't like a sandbox
okay.
sand. It was like a different kind of sand. I was like, oh, it's a different texture. I was pretty interested in the sand. The beach part, which I guess is, I guess a beach is half sand, half ocean. So I guess I was half interested in the ocean. Nah.
That's cool.
I like when you go out onto like a playground and there's like the tarmac.
And there's like little girls there, and they're like not being watched by their parents, and you can just like
chicken and tea and also macaroni.
Go out to the playground and you sit, and it's like a summer day, and the playground's been all like heated up.
Sorry,
and it's, like,
guys,
black,
my secretary just walked in. She's being a goddamn bother.
Well, shut up, secretary. Gibbs telling a story.
I'm telling a story about how I like it when you go sit on a tarmac and you got your hands and you put it on the ground. It's like, ooh, that's hot. But then it's okay after a while. It's like, yeah.
I know the exact feeling.
And it's like there's no one around because it's sort of the end of the day, and then parents are taking their kids and you're like still there because you're a little bit older and you're allowed to stay out a little longer. And it's like, yeah, I really enjoy the playground, and now I can't go there anymore because it's gay and I'm a pedophile, I guess.
When will this meme of raping children is bad go away? When will that meme end? I'm ready for it to swing, the pendulum to swing the other way for a while. Sex with the sex with the child.
Whoa, you're going too far, buddy.
I remember that you have like a job
with like
a company. Like,
yeah, that's right.
That's you got some.
Every day I run the risk a little bit more of them discovering all these things and me getting a little bit of heat for it, but not so far so good. So feels good. And you know what? I kind of want it so that I'll be fired and be forced to be a YouTubesman.
Oh,
so kind of a self-destructive angle here.
Talking about playgrounds, did anybody like using the monkey bars?
That said, no one tell them. No one tell them.
Did anybody use the monkey bars? I was like a monkey bars champion. I could never.
I was always fucking outlawed those shits. I don't know. In America, things
Why
like
would they fucking outlaw monkey bars?
Well,
they're just bars that hang.
Don't seem as much because it's lobbyists with their conflicting goals. It's like you got the bureaucrat's office and waiting to meet in and talk with him.
Damn big government.
There's the fucking girl. There's the very concerned mother gonna talk about obesity with children, but then there's the very concerned mother talking about the children who get hurt whenever they go out and be active and burn calories. And I guess just last decade, the fucking burn calories, getting hurt mom was just more upset than the other one. So that's how things.
What about when you're a little kid and you fall over and you scrape your knee and it's like ow and there's blood. And then you come home, and then it's like a day later or half a day later, there's like a scab. And it's like, oh yeah, picking that scab, that's a nostalgic. I don't get scabs anymore.
You know
I'm
what?
too powerful.
You were talking about being nostalgic for like monkey bars and stuff. That reminded me, when I was a kid in elementary school, we used to have monkey bars. Monkey bars.
God damn
it! I can't even talk about monkey stuff anymore. That guy has weaseled his way into my fucking brain. He's changed my perception of monkeys forever. But, we used to have monkey bars. We used to have, like, a real playground. At a certain point, like, they renovated the playground and, like, they tore everything down and, like, made new stuff. And the new stuff was, like...
It was wooden and tires.
It was, like, all wooden. It was like, there was, like, a big, like, monster made out of tires, and there was, like... everything was like made out of like tires and rubber and wood and stuff. And at the time you were like, oh wow, this new playground is even cooler. But looking back on it, that was just garbage. They just built the playground out of old tires and shit.
Oh yeah, my whole life has been like
we were playing on garbage.
You know what? I am nostalgic for actual good playgrounds. I will say, because that is something that has definitely declined in my lifetime. Like, because of safety concerns, all playgrounds, they get renovated and become boring and shitty. Like
grounds.
Okay, you know what the problem is here?
Yes.
The problem is people are too hyper individualized. They're not focused enough on community. And I mean this sincerely, because if you think about it,
Nate the communist,
one mom,
he's back again.
That's right. One mom sees her child trip and get a splinter there on the wooden playground. She decides this needs to stop. This can never happen to her child, or I get maybe any other child ever again. So they tear that motherfucker down and they build like a stainless steel monstrosity in its place.
Same
that no one
fucking
can
thing
even
as
do
like
any
we're like
fucking thing
every
on.
once in
isn't
a
that
while
the
one out of like
opposite, though, of what you're
200,000
saying
kids
it
will
is?
die
Isn't
from
that-
a vaccine, and
What?
it's the same
Isn't
thing as
that-
like how like one out of every 100,000 kids will die from a vaccine, and that mom is super. Remember vaccines,
Right,
guys?
right.
Weren't those great? I'm nostalgic for
I love
vaccines.
them. I love autism. I'm all about autism. But anyway, Jesse, what were you saying?
That sounds like the opposite of what you're saying is. It sounds like if you're saying no one else can have the playground because they might get hurt like my kid did, that sounds like putting the community before individual rights.
Well, it's like, okay, the everyone loves the playground. Is the fictional thing I'm constructing in my brain. Everyone loves this playground. One child gets hurt in a way that any child could get hurt at any time, and they decide that the playground is like a threat and should be,
I still think that
changed.
sounds
or
like a
whatever.
community thing. Like it's
I don't know.
misguided
That sounds more like
because kids are
abdicating
tough.
personal responsibility. Just like I didn't take good enough care of my
Well, no.
kid, so I'm gonna blame it
Well,
on the state and their shitty
right.
playground.
Or people need to accept, if my child fucking accidentally hung himself by his fucking shoelaces on the playground, that does not necessarily mean the playground is dangerous. All
It means
this
the
comes back-
shoelaces are
shoelaces
dangerous.
are
You have to-
dangerous.
Yeah.
It comes back
Yes.
to humanity's need to find someone to blame in every situation.
true.
Someone needs to take the fall when my child accidentally strangled himself, when my child accidentally was masturbating and choking himself and he died. That someone
On the
that
monkey
fucking belt
bars.
company needs to pay on the monkey bars. That's why
My
monkey bars need
child
to go.
accidentally choked himself masturbating on the monkey bars and was reborn as Bumpy Jones, and that's the canon origin of my son.
See, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, people need to see that, like, okay, just because this thing happened doesn't mean, even if it was legitimately the thing's fault, if it does more good than bad, it's still worth having, even if there is a threat. Just, I don't know, make people aware of it. I don't know. This always drives me crazy when people think like that.
Something similar to playgrounds is big old play places with the climbing frames that you just let
Yeah,
your
That is
kids
very
Jeez.
true.
loose. They're still around, I'm sure, but they seem to be not as
They
popular.
are. They were like a supposedly like not a biohazard, but it's like they weren't sanitary, so they got rid of them.
Yeah. Well, all of them.
Pretty much, at least in America, they're pretty
You mean,
much all gone.
wait, you're talking about like play places for McDonald's? or
Yeah,
something?
you can't go to like
Oh.
Well,
McDonald's and find
I've never
one
been
of those
to a
anymore.
McDonald's that had one of those, but
Oh, yeah.
I've been to a
Those
couple
are still
places
around,
that
but,
were
like-
specifically like a warehouse where you could just set your kid loose.
But yeah,
cool.
like play places. I know they don't build any more of those, but like here, well, in the Midwest where I used to be, I still saw plenty of those. They just never tore them down, right?
Yeah, I
but
think,
there's
like, the
one in
stop
particular,
building
the one
thing
that used to be
sounds
my hometown, where they did tear it down, and they replaced it with this thing that was like still was kind of a play place in that it was literally just one tunnel that led to one slide, and that was it. And I was so fucking pissed. And most of it was video games, and I'm like, yep, this is what's wrong with the world. This is what's wrong with
dude.
this is what's
You
wrong
wanna
with
talk about? Okay, finish your thought.
this is what's wrong with
analysis.
fucking parental guidance, where it's like everyone's like, man, why are all the millennials sitting around in their houses? I mean, maybe it's because millennials were told if you fucking go out of the house where we can't see you, you will trip and fall and break your nose and then get abducted and molested. And so all you can do is play in this like 3x3 foot backyard.
There are dramatically less crimes committed in America, including like kidnappings and pedophilia charges now than there were in like the 50s, and yet now we have far more regulation than ever on all this shit. So like, what the fuck is?
Well,
what are
I
you doing?
think it might
What's
have
going
been.
on?
I mean, I think the regulation might have helped a bit because since there were less kids out, there was
Right,
less sort of
exactly.
pedophiles
Like,
to
maybe
do,
it
so
worked,
they just
right?
died out. They just walked
Well,
around until
yeah,
they died.
I mean, I advocate that we need to sacrifice some children to the pedophiles in order to sate them, in order to avoid large pedophile, uprisings
I just imagine you like
later
doing
on.
like a pedophile dance, like you've tied the children up, like, oh great pedophiles, we sacrifice these to you.
The giant pedophile
King
colossus
pedophile.
comes out of the mountains. Yeah.
No, I think video games are good enough. I can be in my room all the time. I don't fucking
Dude,
care.
speaking of fucking nostalgia, I had an acid flashback to in a McDonald's play place. There was this like I can't even really remember what it was, but there was like this weird game slash like animated cartoon thing that played Barbaran by the fucking Beach Boys, and there was like a story of like a guy trying to like woo this nurse girl, I think, and he couldn't get her, but then he was about to die because he was doing some stunt to impress her, and then she saved him, and then they were like happily ever after in love. Oh my god, that's...
Are you sure that was a game?
It's been in my brain for like 20 years. It was like part of some interactive McDonald's Play Place thing. Man,
I'm
trip.
nostalgic for Recess. Recess was fucking cool.
ban it. It's ableist. Recess is ableist.
Okay.
The kids who are in wheelchairs can't play dodgeball. So
I have a lot of nostalgia for play. We called it playtime because we go out and play, and there's like there was a whole
You're
game.
gay, dude.
I don't
You're
know.
gay.
I don't know whether there's probably not a game that was like anyone ever plays, but we had like lines on the playground for like football and basketball or whatever.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
sometimes there would be like a couple squares, and we would play this game called Two Square with like up to 4 players, where you get a ball and somebody just spikes it or hits it like as if it was volleyball, but not like an actual volleyball hit. They just hit it however they like, and the other person just has to get the ball onto the other square and have it bounce once. It's like a combination of tennis but without a net. And
we called that Foursquare.
Yeah,
That's the
Foursquare.
exact same game, and I was the fucking champion.
Did you
I
have
will fight
4
anyone in
squares?
Foursquare. Well, yeah, we had 4 squares. It was divided into 4 instead of 2, I guess. I will fight anyone in Foursquare at any time on the fucking planet.
And when we went, I wasn't at school because people weren't always playing it, and I wasn't really the sort of person to grab a ball and get people around to play Two Square. So I would just get like a ball with my brother at home, just randomly, and we would go onto the driveway and we would play there. And I would just do that for hours. That would be the funnest thing ever, just to play Two Square on the driveway with a ball. Fuck video games. I want that.
Fuck video games. I don't even like them. They're not even cool. What do we talk about?
Okay, I'm with you. We talked all about a bunch of nostalgia shit, but let me ask you guys. I wanted to we touched on this a few times already, but like Gibbs' video was kind of about this. So is nostalgia actually a good, justified thing? Or is it just a shitty thing that as an adult you have for things when you were young? Is there any value?
I have an answer for
This
that.
weird demonization of nostalgia is just like a weird, contrarian, cynical internet culture thing, and I think it needs to die.
I think I say in my video that people generally think nostalgia goggles are like something to be ashamed of or avoided, and it's like, who cares? It's something you like. It makes you happy, so whatever.
Well,
as long as your arguments are sound, that seems
for me.
reasonable.
Nostalgia that I feel for specific video games is like can be a reason to go back and play the video game, but nostalgia is like a fuel source that does get burnt out by going back to the game, right? Like I've gone back and played Superstar Saga out of nostalgia, like probably 2 or 3, well, a bunch of times, and eventually it's like I've played the game so many times. It's a linear RPG. It's a single-player RPG. There's not that much replay value. 13 times is enough time to play.
That's like what people accuse you of like nostalgia goggles when they're trying to like shit on something you like, or like, they say you just think it's good because of nostalgia, but that's not true. Like Final Fantasy VII, for example. They'll be like, oh, that game's not even good. You like it because you're nostalgic for it. Like, no, I'm not. I play it like every year. I've played it like 1 billion times. Maybe the first time I went back and played it, there was nostalgia. I have no fucking nostalgia for that game anymore whatsoever. It's just a good game that I like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I will say, though, that there are definitely things that are not good that I have nostalgia for, and that makes me think that they're good. But as an adult, I try to figure out whether it's nostalgia or not, and if it is nostalgia, I will still let myself enjoy it, but I won't tell anybody that it's good. I will just tell them that I'm nostalgic for it, and that will sort of make sure that they don't hate it.
Like butt sex, you always look back on butt sex and you have this nostalgia for it, like, yeah, totally cool, I want to do that again. And then you do it again and you're like, oh wait, this is a butthole where poop comes out of. This isn't good at all. Why do I have nostalgia for this?
Yeah,
but then
like Shadow the Hedgehog.
You never learn. You always go back to the butt sex well.
There's a lot of 95 shit that I'm nostalgic for, and if I see it again, I'm going to be like, whoa, I remember that. and then like in the course of like 20 seconds, the amount that I care because of the nostalgia is gonna wear off into nothing. It's like it doesn't last that long. The nostalgia trip.
Is
right?
there anything wrong with that though?
No, there's nothing
Like,
wrong with that. I'm just saying that's how it is for me. And like,
There's a very
and I
simple
feel like-
test, I think.
I feel like there
for-
are some people who like just because their lives went to shit, like they really depend
Yeah.
on the nostalgic memories to get by. Like I feel like
Yeah.
people like
Sure,
Movie Bob
sure.
kind of come off that way to me sometimes, where like he's just so endlessly obsessed with Super Mario Bros. 3, and I'm like, there's not that much to Super Mario Bros. 3, but it's just because.
Well, I mean, he's fat, so he needs to,
That's true, he is
get all the
fat.
happiness he can.
I'm sure he has nothing
yeah,
else
exactly.
in
So
life.
I feel like it's because there are definitely certain people out there who have like too much fixation, or like people like the Nostalgia Critic, who Doug Walker started that series because he was 25 and going through a nostalgic phase. That's what he said. But it ended up becoming this art platform that he then made into his job, and so he's had to continue like
More like
dwelling on
fart
that nostalgic
platform.
phase for like 10 fucking years now. And so I think when people see that, they sort of get this perception that there are these people who just drown in nostalgia endlessly. And I think it's probably the case for some people, but it's mostly just because it makes for a good YouTube show in the late 2000s. And so they get this perception that like, oh, when they see Jesse, they're like, oh, he's still talking about Final Fantasy VII. It's because he's just like that, I think that's where the misconception comes from for some people.
If you can defend, I mean, whatever point you make ever, if you're ever accused of fucking nostalgia, just like if you can defend your point intelligently, that's it. There's no case they
I
can
don't even
make
think
that
there
it's
is a
just
point that needs to
nostalgia.
be made intelligently. Like, what nostalgia just means, like, you remember something fondly from your childhood. Like, even if it's
That's
something
true.
fucking shit. Like I watched and loved as a kid the dub of Monster Rancher, and I watch it now, and it's fucking the worst shit of all time.
Yeah,
but
I
you know
don't think
what?
there's-
I still remember that fondly because I liked it as a kid.
I
There's
don't
nothing
think
to defend.
if
it's just
you
the
like
thing.
something, you don't need like to put together some like coherent like 5-page essay arguing why you like it. I think that if someone
did you, bro?
if someone is saying that what you like is not good, then the burden of proof is on them. If you're saying that something is bad and people shouldn't like it, then you're the one who should have to fucking state your case intelligently. And if you can't, then fuck you, get the fuck out of here.
My
kind of all
whole
pointless anyway, it's all
hypocrite
taste.
YouTube channel is based on the idea that I want to figure out whether my nostalgia is valid or not, because I want to figure out whether the game is good despite the fact that I
Yeah.
really like it.
That sounds like my all-time favorite YouTuber, Cat Icarus. It's time to find out which games need to be salvaged or slaughtered. He's got the two guns. He's got the salvage gun and he's got the slaughtered gun. You ever see that? Oh God!
Yeah,
wanna
I know
kill
Kid
myself.
Icarus. Oh god.
Shoot
know,
both
that
of
sounds
them.
pretty sick.
My Final Fantasy VII, I think, is Frogger He's Back, the Frogger remake from the late 90s that I played the shit out of as a kid. And like the only real difference is that as an adult, I can understand why it's so good. Like it really is, but not good in the way that most people would agree with. It just so happens to like do almost
man.
everything that I want a video game to be.
I have
and it's
a.
like
That reminds me of a story with a point about nostalgia or something. Probably it's
good,
probably
good.
vaguely related to this topic. I don't fucking know, but I don't know. Maybe I've even told the story before. I don't even fucking know. But when I was a kid, it was like Easter or like 1998 or some shit. Easter or 1998, one or the other. It couldn't have been both. We all know that those two things contradict each other. But I really wanted my mom was gonna get me like a present, and I really wanted The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time for the N64. That was the hot new game, the hot new mobile app, as we call games today, for all you youngsters out there.
Yep.
So I really wanted Ocarina of Time, and I'm like, okay, can you please give me this game, Mom? And she comes back from the store, and she goes, well, I thought at the store, instead of getting you just one $60 game, I'll get you
Oh no.
two $30 games, so it's even better because it's two games. And
your mom is part of the reason that those Redbox ripoff movies like Atlantic Rim exist, right?
well, like,
What an indictment.
how dare you say that about my mama? I'm not even done with the story yet. But the two games that she got me instead of Ocarina of Time. Get out of my drawers! What are you doing? The
Shinobi
secretary
3,
is just
get
going
out of those
around
fucking
here.
drawers.
She's going through my pajamas. She's putting on my clothes. She's fucking digging through my fucking my stuff. She's stealing my toys and my games. She's playing with
This is
my
truly
money
shameful.
coaster on the table. She's pocketing all my fucking loose dollar bills. What are you doing? No. Put those. No.
Hashtag gas all women.
Now she's got her pants off now. I don't know what she wants.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm offended. This has been
I'm
a
still-
highly
okay, I'm-
triggering.
I'm still telling the story, but I'm looking at a pussy right now, and I want to touch it. I'm still telling the story. Nobody interrupt me.
Okay, go.
Get out of my PJs! I hate you! What are you doing? Why do you do this stuff to me when I'm doing a podcast with my friends? Get out of here, secretary! I'm with my friends!
Oh man, we're off the rails now.
They all have holes in the crotch. If you want to wear my pants, you have to deal with the holes in the crotch. You're not gonna find a pair in there that's magically intact.
It would take magic to find pants which don't have a hole in the crotch. It would take
You
a
know
force
what
of
I'm
nature.
packing. You know the power. You know what it does to pants. I'm gonna touch your puss if you don't stop getting naked. She's just putting on all my pants. None of my pants are safe. She's just switching between pairs of pajamas. Well, I don't even
were
know
the
what she's
two
doing.
games
All
you
the
were given?
pajamas.
We're never gonna know.
I really want to know these two fucking video games. Was it Shinobi 2 and 3? Was it Earthworm Jim?
Okay, now she's in my bed. Hopefully she's fucking satisfied for now. Hopefully she's dead.
Even though a woman has never been satisfied when in your bed previously, but maybe this will be the exception. Oh!
Nate, stop projecting, buddy.
Never. Okay, go on.
So she gets me these two games. I'm still telling the story. This was all part of the story. Everything that just happened. That part happens every time I tell the story. It's an important chapter in the tale. There's like a flash forward to like when I'm 27 and there's a secretary in my room playing with my pants. It's a narrative device.
It's like that Ferris Bueller story. I mean, not Ferris Bueller, fucking Princess Bride. It's like a story being told from the future.
Yeah, it's the
flashbacks,
framing
right.
device
Yeah.
of like.
Right.
So the two games that she got me instead of Ocarina of Time were Bust-A-Move 2 and Frogger on PS1. And so
What for PS1?
I love Bust a Move.
yeah, so like I was like really disappointed. Like, what is this shit?
What was the other one?
Bust-A-Move and Frogger.
Bust a Frogger. Whoa.
I think
Devu,
you're
you were
getting cut
just
off a little.
talking about Frogger and how great it is, and now you're acting like you don't know what it is.
Your audio
your audio cut
in
out
a
when
weird
you were
way.
explaining
That's
it.
all.
God damn it!
So let's just clarify: Bust-A-Move 2 and Frogger.
Yes, the Frogger
Sweet,
game.
okay.
PS1.
Gotcha.
So I was
okay.
Your audio literally edited. Your fucking audio connection literally edited you into saying "bust a Frogger" on my end.
That's
And
true.
I was like,
It literally
what the
did.
fuck?
It did. Bust a Frogger.
Well, we all know that
Okay.
Devu busts a Frogger every day. That's his source of power. So I was disappointed. This is the point of the story. I was like, oh, these games are probably not good and not even good and not even good. I wanted the other game. But, I played them, and it turned out they were pretty good, and I had a lot of fun with them. And I'm still very nostalgic for those two games to this day, and that is the point of the story, and that's how it goes into the topic at hand, which is nostalgia. And I'm sorry I even told the story. I'm sorry I even tried to say everything.
No, man,
Nothing
just, this is
goes
really
right for
informative.
me
If we ever do a Let's Play, it should be fucking Frogger for PS1. That's
I
for
agree.
dang sure. Because that game is
I want to do
awesome.
Bust a Move 2. Yeah, let's do a Bust a Move 2 play. Because my mom loved Bust a Move and got me into. It's like the only video game ever that my mom got me into.
Whoa,
And
the
so
only
I
video game
remember
ever.
fondly. Yeah, it's the one. It's the one video game
I never
that
heard
they
of
made.
it. Well, I have heard of it. What does it you do? Do you bust a move?
No,
it's this
these
game
little
where you.
bubbles, and it's like Bubble Bobble. It's the same like little mascot characters from Bubble Bobble. If you ever heard of that shit, those little cute little dinosaur guys, and and you fucking, it's like a puzzle game. There's bubbles. and you got to match the colors. You shoot them out of a little cannon, and you match 3 of them, and you can get combos and fucking you fuck up the other guy.
It's sort of like Tetris, only you combine colors
Tetris,
and like
but with
and they all go
bubbles.
away. Yeah,
And
it's-
you know
it's
what I
fun.
like?
Wait,
You reminded me of how mad I was. I didn't get my money's worth with the Nintendo Wii because neither of my parents enjoyed it at all, unlike what the commercials said. Like, that for me was the biggest betrayal of Nintendo. Just because my parents are too fucking old, even for the Wii. Like, my dad
Top
was...
10 anime betrayals.
Yeah.
Whose parents did not enjoy
Because
the
my
Nintendo
dad
Wii.
said, like, there's just no video game that I can relax to, and that's the only reason he consumes art is to relax, and there's no video game that's relaxing enough.
My dad's kind of like that too.
Remember the Nintendo Wii?
Yeah.
That's what they actually used to call it. It's
Yeah.
like urine. Oh,
Oh, the Mario Galaxy was a fun game. I
I
felt
have
like I was a
nostalgia.
spaceman.
I actually do have nostalgia.
You're referencing
Huh?
old AVGN episodes that
Yeah,
I
from the
reference
future,
and
from
am
the
nostalgic
past.
for.
That's
Whoa.
cool. Yeah,
thought
I'm
you were just
nostalgic
being
for
an
that.
old man.
I'm nostalgic for that episode. I'm also nostalgic about the Wii, and also specifically playing golf with my dad on the Wii Golf. That was cool.
Yeah.
He really liked that.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a
Fuck,
You know,
good
that's
game.
weird
Fucking
how
Wii.
like the angry video game nerd was a guy like nostalgic about old games, and now most of us are really nostalgic about the early angry video game nerd episodes.
I know, right?
He still does them, and
Yeah.
they're still great.
Ooh.
But you know, but particularly those old episodes, there's just a timeless quality to them.
Of course.
It is kind of ironic that the Nostalgia Critic has never made anything that's good.
It is.
I
yeah.
actually disagree. I think he's made some okay stuff.
What I mean is, I'm not nostalgic for any particular episode of
I
his.
see.
He's not as rewatchable.
You know what? I'll give him one thing I really liked of his was, I mean, okay, his reviews are all the same. He just talks about shit that happened, but
Yeah.
when he reviewed, he's an integral part of what got me into The Room so much.
Yeah.
I watched his review
Yeah.
of The Room, and so it's always been part of the Room experience for me, and I'll watch that to this day and laugh. That's a good one. See, I'm nostalgic for one thing that he's made. There you go, Doug. You're welcome.
I'm nostalgic for Kikassia and all those things.
I thought the Kick-Ass.
Oh yeah, Kikaxio was fun, but I mean, like it wasn't.
I don't know what
good
that is.
because of him.
Well,
That was like the first big
that
like
that guy
super
with the glasses
crossover.
used to
Yeah.
do.
Oh, okay.
I mean, big old crossover movies, which
Yeah.
progressively got more and more elaborate and stupider.
Yeah,
I had
I
no
didn't like
idea.
any of them. I didn't.
It was
like,
always
for
like
me,
the
my
only
problem-
good part about any of them was Spoonie, because he was the only person on the website who was funny and like had any
Yeah,
kind of
because for
charisma.
me, the
Yeah.
And
problem
then
with those
eventually
movies
they
is
like
that,
fired him from the site, and so then there was no reason to ever go to the site
Yeah,
again.
But see, my problem is that like I just fundamentally hate 90% of the people on that website at any given time,
Yeah.
right? So like
But-
when the third one happened and Todd in the Shadows showed up, I'm like, oh sweet, finally. There's like, okay, Doug, Nostalgia Chick, I like her, and fucking Todd in the Shadows. That's like three
Why
guys.
the fuck do you guys all like Todd in the Shadows? His writing is terrible. He's boring as fuck. I don't like anything about
I agree
him.
with you, Nate. I hate him. He's not a good boy.
But
I don't
the
know why
problem
these
is that
guys-
even
like
when
you and
Todd in the
Digi have been
Shadows is
talking
in
about
there,
how much
he's
you
still
like
a
Todd in the
tiny percentage,
Shadows.
and you get people like Phalus and people like other. They're all just fat white guys, you know. And it's just like, oh, they're all the same fucking boring.
They're all
nobody.
gay. The thing I liked though,
Are you saying
I-
that you like him because he's not white? Is that your reasoning here?
the thing
don't-
I liked about the fact that so many of them were annoying and stupid is that I could imagine myself, you know, as a
Oh,
young
God.
loser kid, like becoming an internet reviewer and joining the
That's
site
true.
just so that I could be there and do it better than they could.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I
Yeah.
got disillusioned to the whole thing by the time I'm actually making
Yeah,
videos.
now you're doing the AVGN style. In my
Yeah.
opinion, kind of sort of better than the AVGN does. Like, in
Well,
my
cool.
opinion, if Hypocrite Reviews becomes like 50 episodes long, then I think I would. If it becomes 100 episodes long, then I would like it more than the first 100 episodes of AVGN. Slightly, but still. Just my opinion, man.
Get
Cool.
editing, Gib.
I am right now. Well, not right now, but
Well, okay. I feel like we've gone pretty deep into that. How about we shift to questions? Is that cool?
Okay.
Let's go. To
I just
want to
say that Revenge of Shinobi on Sega Genesis was the fucking coolest, and I'm nostalgic for that first level because it was really hard, but it was really cool. And we didn't talk about 16-bit games because you're all fucking young, and I hate all of you.
Yeah,
you could've brought it up.
yeah, I'm with you there. We didn't talk about anything important. We just talked about a bunch of. We need to do, thankfully, we should just do like another nostalgia podcast in like a couple weeks, and then we can be nostalgic for this podcast, and then also talk about
That's right.
the actual nostalgic stuff that we all neglected this time,
I think
like
I
video
might
games.
be
Even
the-
though we spent the
I
whole
think
time
I'm-
talking about games.
I think I might be one of the only procrastinators that didn't grow up on 16-bit at all. I didn't even know what an
16-bit.
SNES was for like.
You didn't grow up on SNES.
Well, no, the only reason I
didn't
know
either.
about
Fuck-
what an
fuck
SNES
Nintendo.
is because the AVGN talked about it. And
That-
I'm like,
that's
wait,
Tom,
what's
by the
that?
way.
So there was something
me and Tom
before
are gonna
this
have
in
our own
64?
nostalgia podcast. That'll show you.
See, the thing for me
Yeah.
is that I primarily grew up on PC, and I just didn't play any good games. I had like only 3 good games from my childhood. It's so easy to not be nostalgic because like all the games I played were shit.
Hey,
Surely
you know,
you have nostalgia for your trampoline.
No, I only got a trampoline when I was like 14.
That's a
well, you're like
number of
20
years.
something now.
Not long enough
it's
to be
like 8
nostalgic.
years.
Because like mainly the memory I have is spending my childhood wishing I had a trampoline.
Oh, okay. Well, do you think? Okay, that's interesting. Do you think when you die, you will have more internalized the feeling of wishing you had a trampoline, or actually having had a trampoline? What's more
Well,
core
the-
to the being of Davoo?
Honestly, the main feeling that sticks out to me is like everyone liking that video more than I do, and like me being so baffled at how much people like that video, and like being like, well, okay, nice, totally surprises me
It's a good
for
video.
Well,
always.
it was just a nice wholesome like, yeah, this is why trampolines are good. And I'm like, yeah, it is. That is.
I guess
that is
so.
just-
Hey,
like,
you know
it's
what?
got no other pretenses other than to be a nice little funny
Yeah.
video about trampolines.
That's true. That's true. It's not like a guys. Here's my epic Zelda Breath of the Wild review. It's new. It's a video
On a
game. Everyone loves
trampoline.
video games. Let's. Well, what last thing before we go to questions? I just remembered this. Anyone else nostalgic? I know you are. I know the answer is yes. There is some porn out there that I am super
Oh.
nostalgic for. Like, anyone remember Heather
I have-
Brooke?
I have-
iDeepthroat.com. Come on. You know you love Heather Brooke. Everyone, she's the deep throat queen. Everyone loves Heather Brooke. She's a champion. That was like the first porn I was ever introduced to by outside friends.
I am
Changed the game.
Nostalgic for like a few early Bang Bros things.
Did you ever watch Bruno B? I remember
I don't
Bruno
know
B.
who that is.
He was just like a
You know,
casting
like
couch
I've
kind of
never,
guy.
I've never to this day watched or read Naruto, but whenever I see the character designs, I think about a lot of my early masturbation. That's for sure.
Shout out to Acid Head. Does some excellent.
Shout out to porn.com.
Naruto
And whenever I look at Davoo's masturbation, I get nostalgic for Naruto.
Also, and Bible Black. Also, the one of the first hentai I ever saw. Also, the best that there ever will
Oh,
be. So.
fucking Fire Emblem fan art. The first inclination I ever had that people could draw characters from things in sexual ways.
Nice.
Fire Emblem fan art, right?
Florina specifically, she had her panties showing. I was like,
Oh my
what?
God.
You can see that? You can draw that? Oh no.
My Christian sensibilities. No. All right. Well, there you go.
Yes.
So let's go to questions. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Okay, we got a bunch here. Here's a question that's I think is interesting. Is there any all right, at an untitled abrigda, it's like an untitled abridger, but it's weird. Tony, this guy tweets at procrastinators all the time. He says, is there anything good about politics? Favorite political leader?
Yes.
Of
here's
any
my
definition
answer.
/ history?
Politics are
Yeah.
cool until it's like 300 million people, right? Like when you watch like maybe like some TV show that involves politics, and it's like okay, the fucking chairman election arc from the end of Hunter x Hunter. It's like politics, but only like 300 people are involved, and it's got a lot of it's a clash of really interesting personalities with a lot of really interesting shit. And like when you see those tiny countries of like 3 million people, there's still a lot of personality that comes through. But you know how like the more participants you get in something, the more it averages out. Like the more that you flip a coin, the more it becomes 50-50. Like the problem with America is it's so many fucking people that the only people who can end up becoming nominees are like these weird fucking bullshit blends of different opinions that make no fucking sense, and it becomes
Right.
utterly depressing. So the problem with America is it's too big, and that's why our politics are so annoying now.
It is possible that in our internet age that we're in now, like human beings are maybe human beings are like, what's the word I'm looking for? Lethally tribal, and that as we're more and more exposed to the other people that actually share the country with us, we're finding out like, holy shit,
Like-
I share the country with these people? Fuck that. and it's gonna cause more dissent.
Well,
you
I
know?
think
There's
I don't
just
know.
there's too many people, and the people are too uneducated, and that's the problem.
I think that
Yeah.
politics
But remember,
in
guys,
all
I-
of its forms is nothing but a mental cancer, and once it's in people's brains, it invariably turns them into worse human beings.
I don't disagree.
I just want to say, lethally tribal Aurora Mage.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You did it.
I,
Yeah.
I just want to say
actually,
Lethal Lava Land from Super Mario 64.
Yes.
Yes. I want to actually defend politics for a second, and because
You're gay.
It's just
Kill him.
all I have to say is remember Rossiu from Gurren Lagann, guys. I know it always comes back to fucking Gurren Lagann, but what Rossiu represents is well, I would normally say like a what's the word, a oh god, what's the fucking word for someone who like
George Bush.
benevolent? A benevolent despot is the word I was looking for, which is a term for like a dictator who like legitimately has the best interest of the people in mind. But Rossiu wasn't even a dictator or like
they're
a
not.
despot or anything. He was just elected.
Doing it,
But
guys.
so like if you
I'm doing it,
it is
everybody.
possible. What are you
I'm
doing?
putting
What are you
on my
doing?
secretary's pants. That'll fucking show her. Whoa!
Nate, I
there's-
love how
there's
you
hope.
and me both agree that the only way to defend politics is
These
to use
fit better
anime.
than my pants.
Yeah.
They're all like elastic and stuff.
I think it's because political intrigue is interesting. Politics is dry and boring.
No. But see, okay. But the thing about Rossiu is a hero
I'm trying on
because
my
he
own
spent.
pants.
Rossiu was a politician who spent like 50 fucking years just toiling and toiling and toiling to make sure that, you know, all the spiral races work together and shit. And we see exactly none of the hard work that actually went into making sure everything went smoothly so that everyone didn't kill each other. And like, just like in real life, we're bored. We're endlessly bored by the nitty gritty of what it takes to actually run a society properly. And so in the anime, they fucking skip that. And they just tell us it was really hard, but it went well. But what it's in real life, you have to actually like live the life of a guy spending 1,000 years
personally,
trying to organize
I think
shit.
actually most politics is interesting, but most politicians are boring because like what it takes to become
Maybe.
a politician, you have to like.
Gee, I
fucking
sure am
rewrite
nostalgic
your brain
for
in this fucking retarded way to where
before
you
the
become a huge,
questions
boring
because
asshole.
I just wanted to talk about how cool Rossiu is.
Rossio
You can have a
2020.
cool-
That's the answer.
He's a hero, guys. He's
Moving
a hero.
on. Next question.
Okay, next question. Okay, what? Oh, what's his face? At Kink Cuck, right? Kink Cuck asks, "What is the best fast food restaurant?"
Five Guys.
And also, why are restaurants so shit?
They're all terrible.
Five Guys,
They
did you say?
all don't deserve to exist.
I agree.
I
think they're
immediately
all
say
shit.
Five Guys. Five Guys like tastes like an actual burger that was made at home, basically, but it wasn't. It's fast
what
food.
counts as fast food?
If you,
Does
it
a curry
drive-thru,
house
or-
count as fast food?
That's like sit down. That's like a sit down place.
Because I usually order that in or take away. It's like reasonably quick.
I'll say it counts. Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
I'm
I
just
like
saying
curry.
Domino's pan pizza because I'm getting that as soon as this podcast is over. I would have already ordered
Wait.
it, but my store is currently unavailable for online ordering, and I'm kind of
Wait,
nostalgic
I got
for
it.
online ordering right now.
I got it. Fish and chips. The English classic fish and chips.
Wait,
That
It's
is-
just chips.
Is that a
You say
restaurant?
chips.
It's fries.
It's
fries.
just a food. It's
Oh, okay.
battered fish
fish and
with
chips.
with fried chips, and it's fast and it's food, and I like it. And
A
you
fish
can
and
buy
chips
it anywhere.
is efficient.
Yes,
Oh,
Yes.
get out of here.
Nice. I by the way, I just
I
want
got
to
a
say,
fish in my shoulder.
I hate fast food. I think it's a cancer on the world. And
is.
one time I was watching some show on the Food Network. It was like Chopped. It was like a competition between cooks, and there was one cook there. Like the others, you know, they try to make tasty food. There was one there whose main emphasis is to make healthy food that people will feel good and improve their lives when they eat. She got voted out in the first round because she didn't load enough salt and oil and bullshit into her food and tried to actually care about the people who she was serving to. Whereas the other people only gave a shit about what instantly was the most instant gratification eating it. And I think that really speaks to humanity at large. We treat food like it's something to make us feel good and not fuel cells that we need to power ourselves
I'm
through life.
absolutely
And I hate that.
100%
I hate
on
that.
board with you. I think taste buds are the worst thing, and they should be genetically edited out of our.
Okay.
I don't
look,
know.
I
Shit
think
like
I think
okay,
the
look.
worst thing that we have in our bodies is the butthole. Because we can't.
Well, I mean,
Because we can't stop crapping our pants, guys. Hey, yeah, does anyone else have this problem? Where we just oh god, oh no,
just
Have you
you.
crapped your secretary's pants?
and I'm not even
That's
wearing
the
my
real
pants. I'm wearing my
secretary.
secretary's pants. I'm so sorry.
that's the real reason his pants have holes in them.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
I'm
what I was
ruining your
thinking.
pants.
Anyway, here's the fucking tier list for fast food, right? It's like, okay, there's Burger King, which tastes terrible, makes you feel terrible, makes you want to go on a killing spree. Then there's stuff like McDonald's and Wendy's, which has like this like half-second tasty when you put it in your mouth, but you just feel gross during and after. It feels unsatisfying.
I don't know if I put McDonald's above Burger King, but continue.
I put Burger King way below all the others. It doesn't even taste good. But anyway, so then you have stuff like Five Guys, which is like it tastes great, and then I feel great as long as I haven't been eating just this, right? As long as it's the occasional, the exception to the rule, when I eat something giant and greasy and ketchup.
Now, Javoo,
Hey.
oh man,
Then it's
this
fucking
is a
great.
very typical argument to have here. You're advocating for like I'm a free American. I can eat whatever I want. But the fact of the matter is, fast food is garbage, and no one should eat it at any time in their life.
Except it
I
makes
don't
you a
want
better
people to have the
person.
freedom to eat it.
Remember what
no, it makes you a
SpongeBob
much
said?
worse
It's good
person.
for you, good for your soul.
SpongeBob's dead because I murdered him. So there
Hey,
you go.
Dabu, is
What?
your tier list based on the amount of tears you cry when you eat it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Good.
Here's a question that's never been addressed before. At SizWhiteScum69 asks,
Oh, no.
What is your favorite mud in video
Oh,
games? What's up with mud? What's going on with mud? Do we have any experts here who can answer this question?
Actually, wait. Isn't there a mud track in Mario Kart DS?
Yeah, Wario.
I believe.
Wario.
Yeah. Well, you included the Wario one in the list, Hippo. But there's another one that's like chocolatey. It's like a chocolate mountain in Mario Kart DS.
Oh yeah, isn't that the 64?
Well,
They
it,
have,
it
like, a
was well, it
choco
was adapted
mountain.
into the DS one, but I guess it's chocolate,
know-
not mud. So I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's
have
why I
an
didn't put it
opinion.
in.
I
It was
remember
too
I remember
chocolatey.
a great mud level. There was this game. There's this game called Conquer on the N64 where you run up this whole mountain made out of
boy.
mud, and then you go inside the mud mountain and you fight like a giant mud man, and the mud man throws toilet paper at you for some reason. I never understood why he was throwing toilet
I think
paper.
his name was the Great Mighty Mud,
yeah,
if I
something
remember
like
correctly.
That. It was a
Yeah.
good wholesome game for a young developing boy like myself. It made me the man I am today, wholesome and full of values.
And that's why you have so much mud in your pants at any given moment. It was no
I-
inspiration.
No,
I am
wait, I have
curious
crap in
as
my
to-
pants. Wait a minute. Oh my god! It was crap all along! That explains
actually
why I'm
curious
the
if
crappy
anybody
pants
has-
man! My canon
Conker did
origin
it.
at last.
I am actually curious if anybody knows of any other games that have cool mud in them, because I
No,
couldn't think of really any.
I really thought about it when I watched your video, and I'm not
I'm
sure.
trying.
So.
I feel like is some game that I played that has mud in it that I distinctly remember like getting on the character and thought it was gross, but I cannot for the life of me recall what it was.
Is
And
there
it's-
mud in the Lion King for Super NES? I don't know. I
Anyone who
can't
played
remember.
a Super NES is
There
fucking
is not.
dumb, and I hate them. Sega
I love that-
Genesis. for
Tom,
life.
this is my favorite thing about you, Tom, that you are the one remaining like Sega warrior champion against Nintendo. Decades later,
It
it's you,
changed my
dude.
life. You don't understand.
Someday you
tried-
have to tell us the full tale.
I
Tell us
tried
the
to
full
buy.
tale.
I bought a Super Nintendo like years later, and I was so offended that it was in my house. I just sold it to my friend. I'm like, I don't want it anymore.
Holy
I don't even
shit.
care. I hate it.
That's
You're
funny, 'cause,
hardcore,
like,
dude.
Man, you know, we should have a PCP about arguing and fighting for the sake of it being fun. Because like when I was like 13, I was
Oh,
all
yeah.
console warrior, but like totally as a meme. Like I was.
Oh
just,
my god, dude! Yes, I was on GameSpot forums all the time. Lemmings and cows and sheep.
Yeah,
Oh man, that was
like
that was a
like
good
for me,
time.
it was like when the Wii was coming out, I was all like, "Oh, dude, like this is the future of gaming," and like all that online multiplayer shit is just going in the wrong direction. And like I thought it was fucking funny, and then like years later, or recently, or soon afterwards, you get people like, "Guys, what's up with the console war? Stop being such petty assholes." I'm like, "You killjoy dumbass! You don't know what this
Yep.
is."
Yeah.
Let's do it. I want a fucking episode of us talking about fights and how people do it all wrong. Like people take stuff seriously when it shouldn't be, and then
Yeah.
people take stuff not
I
seriously
love
when it should be.
arguing.
Cause like so much fighting on the internet is like someone like sees something on Twitter and they go, "Pff, that's gay." Then they type like, "Erg, you're a big asshole head." But then smarmy YouTube people are like, look at all these people being so worked up about it. You know, like they think that guy's like all worked up, but he just typed a bunch of exclamation marks in his tweet because he thought it was funny. You know? That
yeah,
kind of
that's
shit.
just it's hard to tell when people are serious, and a lot of people are just assumed to be serious all the time. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, we should educate the people on that. That's a good idea.
Right.
Here's oh shit, there was one more that was decent. God damn, where the fuck did it go? Filling time.
Sifted through a sea of not good questions.
Oh boy.
I can't fucking. It was here. God damn it, where the
Hurry
fuck?
up, I wanna get my
got it.
pizza.
I found it. Okay, here's our last question. Okay, by
None of us
at-
wanna be here.
At
Hurry
No
up.
You Mate. I know, we gotta get out. At No You Mate asks, how? Okay, this one might get real. So you choose how
God.
serious you want to
3
be about
hours
it. Okay,
later.
how satisfied? Yeah, how satisfied is each one of you with their work right now?
Oh my god.
That's a serious question, right?
Well, I think my work is the best it's been in a while, at least in terms of productivity. So I'm pretty good.
Agreed.
All of
doing
my
excellent.
work is garbage. It's retarded, weird meta content that appeals to absolutely nobody and has no point. And the only good stuff I make is stuff that I just write and that never sees the light of day, that no one ever gets to see.
My satisfaction with my current output would be like a light 8, which is editing Digi's videos, right?
That's pretty good.
My
That's good.
satisfaction with like my work flow is like a strong 9, and my satisfaction with where I think my work is going, like the direction that my output is going, I would say is also like a 9.75. So I'm pretty
This
satisfied.
nigga.
Fuck
is
you
happy
people being
as fuck.
happy.
Yeah.
Jesse
That's a
didn't say he
meme that
was
needs to
happy.
die. If I'm not happy, nobody
Yeah,
can
me and Tom are going to start our own podcast called the Everyone's Too Happy Cast.
Tom, feel
And
free to do
also,
whatever
we
you-
love old video games.
Tom, feel
Jesse
feel free
and
to
Tom
try
should do
whatever
like
you
a
want to
Jesse
try
and
suck
Tom cast
happiness
where
away
they-
from me, okay? Feel free.
The reason we're not happy, Jess, is we played too much Shinobi and it
Yeah.
killed all of our joy.
It's a new weekly podcast on this channel, The Airing of Grievances with Tom and Jess. Every week after the
I would
PCP,
like to
we
see
just
that
shit on
shit
everyone.
For real.
I'm also I hate how I'm actually here's a confession. I'm like learning now how to make fast videos. I don't know how to make fast videos. I'm trying to figure it out,
Dude, your
and
Kingdom
it's really
Hearts ones
hard.
were all perfect. Do it like that
Yeah.
forever. Yeah,
Those are good. Those are good. It's
Hey, Nate.
I'm kind of used to giving myself space to take as long as I want. Can't do it anymore.
It's because you
So-
don't like fast food. You gotta take inspiration.
Oh, I gotta go to
all
Burger
places.
King first. Yeah, I gotta.
You gotta
I
go back to eating at Burger King.
But Peter, I don't work at Burger King.
Oh my
I
god.
can't do it.
That was
You
the
brought it
worst
back.
ever.
You brought the
Oh, it was
forgotten
the best.
meme back.
Thank God. I love it. I love it. Double Batman really appreciated that one, I'm sure. Okay, that's it. Enough for questions. Thanks for asking, everybody. Make sure you send us more at TP Crastinators when we fucking record them. Send them out throughout the week. Whatever. Fuck you.
And remember, everybody, whatever you do, don't trade pants with the crappy pants man. That's the moral of this week.
That's right. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Goodness.
Yeah. 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 I'm supposed to be working right now. I'm supposed to be working right now. But I'm not working. I'm doing nothing. My dick I'm jerking. Myself I'm sucking. I am an asshole. I am a stupid. I've got a deadline. Don't wanna do it. What the hell is wrong with